So guys, here we are, the famous balcony scene. Okay, pages 89, 90, 91 and 92 of your literature book. I'm gonna comment on the passage. Please listen to it very, very carefully. Remember, Romeo and Juliet is not a prose work. So it is very important that you listen to it very carefully to get used to the sound of poetry, okay? Now, I'm going to analyze activities from 3 up to 13, okay, and comment on the passage. To start with, this passage is defined as the balcony scene, but of course, actors could not have a balcony in Shakespearean times. It was not possible to build a balcony. So, what did the actors use at that time? They used, remember that upper stage covered by the heaven. Remember we talked about that would be the place to be used for the balcony scene, and of course actors could also use the language and gestures to emphasize the fact that Juliet was talking from high above. Okay, now remember that Shakespeare never used the word balcony in his script. You will never find the word balcony, okay, in Shakespeare's text of Romeo and Juliet. Now, what is this bit about? Now, Juliet is in a garden. She's thinking out loud. She doesn't know Romeo is there, and she starts talking about Romeo and declaring her love to him, okay? Romeo steps forth and they start talking and they declare their love, okay? It is a very, very important scene, okay? Because from now on, things will go on uninterruptedly until the death of the two lovers, okay? It all starts here, okay? There's no going back from such a passage, such an intense love scene, okay? Now, to start with, let's analyze exercise 3. I'm gonna give you the solutions to this exercise and comment on it briefly. Now, number 1 is garden, 2 is Montague, 3 is enemy, 4 is name, 5 is lover, 6 is presence, and 7 is fear, okay? Now, of course, what you have here is a summary of what happens, okay, in the text. But I hope you read the translation very, very carefully, okay? So I hope you understood what happens during this scene. Okay, now let's move on to the analysis of the text itself. Okay, now let's analyze the opening lines from 1 to 17, I would say, with exercise 4. Okay, Romeo's family name is an enemy to Juliet. This means that they can't be together, they can't be lovers, I would say, okay? And in order for them to be together, she thinks Romeo could refuse his name, okay? Another solution could be that Juliet stop being a Capulet, refuse being a Capulet, I would say. Juliet thinks the essence of Romeo is not in his name, does not lie in his name. She wonders what the name Romeo refers to. It is not an essential element, an essential part, I would say, of a person. Juliet realizes that the same clash between name and meaning exists in nature. For example, the name Rose refers to the flower, but if the flower had another name, it would have the same smell. It would smell as sweet. Okay? Juliet concludes her reasoning by saying that if Romeo refused his name, this lust would become again because he would win Juliet's love. You can use this expression in English. Okay. In Petrarchan conventions, exercise 5, the woman was often depicted as a saint. That was typical, while the lover was often depicted as an unguided ship. Can you find any examples of these conventions in the text? These are the ones I found. Okay, let's see what you could do. Now, I found one in line 25. My name, dear saint, is my name, dear saint, is hateful to myself. That is Romeo talking to Juliet, and he defines her as a saint. And the other one I found is here, line 52. I am no pilot, yet were thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea. Okay, I would adventure for such merchandise. Okay, these are the two I found out. But of course, you can tell me if you found other examples, and I will comment on them. Exercise 6. Romeo uses many expressions that underline his idea of love. Find them and complete the table below. Okay, so you have the example for line 37. I'm gonna give you the solutions for lines 42, 43. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. If you look at me sweetly, okay, I will be protected against my enemies. Okay, that is the meaning. And what about lines 47, 48? A life without love is worse than death. Okay, where is this stated? I would say, my life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, wanting of thy love. Okay, this is the solution. This is where Romeo states a life without love is worse than death. Okay. Exercise 7. Does Juliet speak differently? Okay, so you see Romeo is using a very complex language. Okay, does Juliet speak differently? Find the lines in the text that correspond to the following. Who are you? Line, in my opinion, line 21. What man art thou? Okay. Are you Romeo? In my opinion, line 30. Are thou not Romeo? How did you get here and why? Line 32. How camest thou hither? Okay. And if my kinsmen see you here, they'll kill you. Kinsmen means uomini della famiglia. Okay. Lines 34 and 35, in my opinion. Let me read you these two lines. If my kinsmen see you here, they'll kill you. And the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here. Okay? Now, what do these questions reveal about Juliet? Now, she's mature, okay? She is very sensible, okay? She takes into consideration the different problems caused by their relationship, and she's conscious of the situation, the terrible situation, whereas Romeo is not that conscious of all their problems. Okay? Exercise 8. Who uses conceit in the dialogue? Now, what's a conceit? You have a definition here. It is a metaphor, and in some cases, a very strained, a very long one. In some cases, it dominates an entire passage of a literary work, and how does Romeo answer each question? Exercise 9. A or B? I would say A, with a poetic conceit. Okay. Exercise 10. In the dialogue between Romeo and Juliet, there are many references to death. Find them in the text. Line 34. The place is death, considering who you are. What about line 40? The reference to death is, in my opinion, let's see, they will murder thee. Okay? And what about line 47? Line 47, my life were better ended. And line 48, the following one, death is clearly stated. Death prorogued. Okay, that is the reference to death. Okay, what about 11? Compare Romeo and Juliet. From what you have just read, how would you define Juliet? We have already talked about this a bit. What kind of person is Romeo? Is he different from Juliet? Now, we said that Romeo is a very passionate man. He is a man of passion, and he is kind of the cowardly lover. Okay, I would define him in this way. Whereas, well, Juliet is, we said, she is mature, she has got real worries, and she's practical. She has a practical view of their problem. Okay? Now, exercise 12. The two lovers' insistence on the theme of death would be strange if it did not have a specific purpose. Can you guess what it is? Choose the correct option. A or B? I would say A. They continually remind the audience of the two lovers' ill fate. Okay, that is the purpose of this insistence on the theme of death. We always have to remember that things will end in tragedy. I told you many of the acts of Romeo and Juliet would not be considered as a tragedy, okay? So keep in mind that the author keeps on talking about death because he's saying, pay attention, things will go wrong, even if now we are talking about love and two young lovers and everything seems fine. But things will end in a tragedy. Okay, number 13. Dramatic irony occurs when the audience is aware of something the characters don't know. What is the effect of dramatic irony in this case? Choose the correct option. Well, I would say A. It increases the audience's anxiety about the characters' actions, which are leading them to an inevitable tragic ending. Okay? See you. Bye.